Hello everyone, Silverstruck here. Welcome to the Silverstruck channel. Oftentimes I'll talk a lot about vintage bars, but what about vintage rounds? I do indeed collect vintage rounds quite a bit, and I have some new pickups to share with all of you. I've also put together a nice silver background of some of my favorite rounds to pick up for you to look at while I talk on about vintage silver, as I often do. Right now, there's a lot of selling in the market, and when you have a lot of silver being sold, that means the opportunity to hunt certain types of silver is fantastic. And so one of my favorite things to do is to frequent some different local coin shops here and pick through the bins looking for those specific types of vintage silver that would carry probably a pretty steep premium in the secondary market, say eBay or something like that. I'm not a flipper, but I just do like collecting rounds that cost a premium on eBay you can find at the LCS for generic pricing. So without further delay, let's have a look at some of these rounds I've picked up very recently. And I'm going to start with my all-time favorite, which is Engle Prospector rounds. Now, once I hit 100 Engle Prospector rounds and north of that, I kind of stopped collecting them except for the 1983, which is the most scarce date. And a while back at a local coin shop, I was able to pick up 7 of these rounds, all 1983s, all in flips, and in excellent shape. These 1983 Prospectors were picked up for generic pricing. So, beautiful round. Pretty much the key date for the Englehards. And I have a small tube I've been working on right back here, which has 11 Englehards in there. So, that's a pretty good bump up in my 1983 stack. Sometime I'd like to get to 20 and be able to create an entire tube of 1983s. I just don't want to go at an auction site and pay all the money. I know it's easier to do that, but I like the hunt. Also, in my hunting, I was able to pick up one of these. I don't really pick these up so much either unless I need a date. But, you know, sometimes old habits die hard, and it's hard for me to leave a beautiful, brilliant, uncirculated condition 1985 Sunshine Mining round behind. So I did go ahead and pick this particular one up. I probably shouldn't have because I have plenty, and I already have that date, multiples, but hey, we're stackers and collectors. What are you going to do? The next group of rounds I'm particularly pleased to have found, especially this one right here. I've never actually found one out in the wild, and I was able to pick 4 of these up. And here we have Freedom, the American Way. As we flip this one over to its reverse, you can see it is indeed a Johnson Matthey dated 1986. You can see the JM logo to the bottom, right around where it says 1 troy ounce, 3/9 fine silver. So a fantastic find out in the wild, dated Johnson Matthey rounds. So you know those are vintage, and with having 4 of them, pretty neat that I was able to find that many. In the same bin, I was able to find these. This one's a little toned, so let's look at the blast white example. Might be able to see it a little bit better. So on the obverse here, it says Alaska, 25 years. And it's an interesting obverse. You have a sled dog musher right there, if you will. The flag has dogs running through it, a mountain in the background. As we flip this one over to its reverse, you can see that it is also a Johnson Matthey product. So 3/9 fine, Johnson Matthey. These go for a heck of a premium on eBay. I looked them up. And there's a few different versions. This one is most likely from 1984, as far as I can tell from my research. But there's actually a version of this dated 1985, so that's pretty interesting. And I ended up with 3 of those, so that was a big surprise. 1 toner and 2 blast white examples. The last rounds, I wasn't as excited, but I couldn't leave them behind. And these are part of a series that I already have. And I do have some of these loose rounds. And this is the Bill of Rights series, if you will. This is the Right to Privacy. So we flip it over, you can see it's a Johnson Matthey. And the second one is Freedom from Slavery. And I've already shown rounds like this before because I already have them loose in the stack. But like I said, collecting these in the original packaging in the original 10 rounds is kind of a must-have, in my opinion, for a vintage stacker. That's a great set to go ahead and pick up. So just sharing with you some really cool rounds I was able to pick out of bins at local coin shops. I encourage you to get out there and take a look at your local coin shop, see what you can find. Educate yourself on some of the more sought-after product like those harder to find Engle hards or Johnson Mattheys. And I think you'll be surprised with as much silver that's being traded in, how many cool things there are to actually go out there and find. So happy hunting to all of you. Don't forget to leave me a comment in the comment section. And as always, thank you so much for watching.